During the 2024 debate, President Joe Biden referred to the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, TCJA, enacted under President Donald Trump's administration as the largest tax cut in American history, with a cost of $2 trillion. This statement aligns with various estimates and interpretations of the fiscal impact of the TCJA. Let's delve into the context and details. Context of the TCJA. Legislative overview. The TCJA was signed into law in December 2017 and represented a comprehensive overhaul of the U.S. tax code, impacting individual, corporate, and international tax regulations. Primary components. Corporate tax rate, reduced from 35% to 21%. Individual tax rates, reduced across most income brackets. Standard deduction, nearly doubled. Child tax credit, increased. Alternative minimum tax, AMT, reduced for individuals and repealed for corporations. Estate tax exemption, doubled. Fiscal impact. Joint Committee on Taxation, JCT, estimate. The JCT estimated that the TCJA would add approximately $1.5 trillion to the federal deficit over 10 years, 2018 to 2027. Congressional Budget Office, CBO, estimate. The CBO's projections indicated that the TCJA would increase the deficit by about $1.9 trillion over the same period, including interest on the additional debt. Other estimates. Organizations like the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget, CRFB, suggested that the cost could be around $2.3 trillion over a decade if temporary provisions were extended permanently. Biden's statement. Historical context. President Biden's statement that the TCJA was the largest tax cut in American history reflects the substantial reduction in federal revenue due to the act. While the precise ranking depends on various measures, example percentage of GDP, absolute dollar amount, the TCJA is indeed one of the most significant tax cuts in terms of its fiscal impact. $2 trillion figure. The $2 trillion figure Biden mentioned aligns with the upper estimates of the TCJA's cost when considering factors like the potential extension of temporary tax cuts and additional interest on the national debt. Comparison to other tax cuts. Reagan's tax cuts, 1981. The Economic Recovery Tax Act of 1981, signed by President Ronald Reagan, was another major tax cut, often compared to the TCJA. When adjusted for inflation and as a percentage of GDP, Reagan's tax cuts were also highly significant. Bush's tax cuts, 2001 and 2003. The tax cuts enacted under President George W. Bush were also substantial, though smaller in scope compared to the TCJA when considering long-term fiscal impact. Conclusion. President Biden's characterization of the TCJA as the largest tax cut in American history, costing $2 trillion, reflects the significant fiscal impact of the legislation. While estimates vary, the TCJA is indeed one of the most substantial tax cuts, particularly when considering the potential for extended provisions and long-term debt implications. Understanding these details helps clarify the context and implications of the TCJA during Trump's administration.